Good morning all of you. Today we are going to discuss about the topic physiology of flowering. Physiology of flowering. Okay. So it is the chapter of credit second. Okay, last chapter of credit second. So in the higher plants, the flower they produce for the purpose of sexual reproduction. Okay, the flowers they are produced for the purpose of sexual reproduction. Okay, the flowers they are produced for the purpose of sexual reproduction, and it helps to maintain the species or to maintain the race of that plant or to maintain the species. Okay, the sexual reproduction it is to maintain the species, and the flowers they are produced for the purpose of sexual reproduction. Okay, so during the flowering there is the transition from vegetative growth to reproductive growth. Okay, so there is the transition of vegetative growth to reproductive growth. Okay, the flowering means it is the transition of vegetative growth to reproductive growth. Okay, so during this process, the vegetative shoot tip it become modified into reproductive shoot. Okay, so the shoot tip, the vegetative shoot tip, it become modified into the reproductive shoot tip. Okay, so what is meant by the vegetative shoot tip? The plants, it shows the branches, and on the branches the leaves are developed. Okay, so these are known as these shoot tips, they are known as the vegetative shoot tips. Okay, but when the conditions they are favorable for the reproduction, or we can say that when the life cycle is going to over, in that case, for to maintain the species, the plants it start the reproductive growth. Okay, plant काय करतं त्या ठिकाणी व्हेजिटेटिव्ह ग्रोथ पासून रिप्रोडक्टिव्ह ग्रोथ त्या ठिकाणी स्टार्ट करतं. सुरुवातीला त्या ठिकाणी व्हेजिटेटिव्ह ग्रोथ त्या ठिकाणी कंप्लीट होते, आणि आफ्टर दॅट व्हेजिटेटिव्ह ग्रोथ मध्ये काय होतं, त्या ठिकाणी प्रत्येक ठिकाणी आपल्याला त्या ठिकाणी ब्रांचेस आणि ब्रांचेसवर लिव्स त्या ठिकाणी दिसतात. सो व्हेजिटेटिव्ह शूट टिप. पण या ठिकाणी काही ठिकाणी काय होतं, इन्स्टेड ऑफ द लिव्स इट प्रोड्युसेस द फ्लोरल लिव्स. ओके, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी नॉर्मल ग्रीन लिव्स डेव्हलप होण्याच्या ऐवजी इथे फ्लोरल लिव्स तयार होतात. सो फ्लोरल लिव्स मीन्स व्हॉट, द फ्लोरल लिव्स मीन्स द सेपल, पेटल, स्टेमन अँड कार्पेल्स. ओके, so it start develop the sepal, petal, then the stamen and the carpel. Okay, so instead of the branches and leaves, it starts develop into sepal, petal, stamen and carpel. That is the flower. That is the flower. Okay, so it is the most important phase of life where the several physiological changes they are taken place. Okay, so in the flowering plants there are the two physiological phases. Okay, there are the two physiological phases. In the transition from vegetative to reproductive phase, there are the two physiological phases. The number one, that is the induction of flowering, and second, that is the flower differentiation. Flower differentiation. Okay, so in induction of the flowering, instead of formation of the leaves, okay, instead of formation of leaves, it starts develop into the floral leaves. Start develop floral leaves. Floral leaves means calyx corolla anthoecium gynoecium. Okay, so it is from the shoot meristem. From shoot meristem. Okay, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी जे शूटचं जे मेरिस्टेम, मेरिस्टेम म्हणजे काय? The meristem is a tissue which is in the state of division, which shows the continuous division and redivision and produces the new cells. Okay, तर या ठिकाणी हा जो शूट मेरिस्टेम जो या ठिकाणी त्यांनी काय करायचं, लीव्ज आणि ब्रांचेस आणि लीव्ज डेव्हलप करायचे, त्याच्याऐवजी त्या ठिकाणी काय होतं, इट स्टार्ट डेव्हलप द फ्लोरल लीव्ज. तो फ्लोरल लीव्ज डेव्हलप करायला लागतो, ब्रांचेस आणि साधे ग्रीन लीव्ज तयार करायचे ऐवजी फ्लोरल लीव्ज. आणि फ्लोरल लीव्ज म्हणजे काय, calyx corolla anthoecium gynoecium. Okay, तर या ठिकाणी सो दॅट फेज इट इज नोन ॲज द इंडक्शन ऑफ फ्लॉवरिंग. आणि त्यानंतर मग या ठिकाणी मेरिस्टेमनी त्या ठिकाणी हे टिश्यू तयार केल्यानंतर त्या ठिकाणी त्याच्यापासून कम्प्लीट फ्लावर डेव्हलप होतं. सो दॅट इज द फ्लावर डिफरन्शिएशन. ओके, सो इट इज द डेव्हलपमेंट ऑफ फ्लावर. Development of the flower, that is the flower differentiation. Okay, so there are the various environmental factors that act upon the plant during the induction period. Okay, so this induction period is most important. So various environmental factors like light, temperature, water, nutrients, all these things, they play most important role in the induction period. Okay, so there are the two main inductive conditions that induces the flowering, and that inductive conditions are the two environmental factors that shows their impact on the induction of the flowering, and the two factors are the light and the temperature. Okay, so this light and temperature, these are two most important factors which affects on the induction of the flowering. Okay, so the flowering response of the plant to the day length. Okay, the flowering response of plant to the day length. It is known as the photoperiodism. Known as photoperiodism. Okay, या ठिकाणी प्लांट जो आहे तर या ठिकाणी डे लेंथ किती आहे, म्हणजे दिवस, या ठिकाणी दिवसाची लांबी किती आहे, रात्र किती आहे, दिवस किती मोठा आहे, रात्र किती लहान आहे, किंवा रात्र किती मोठी आहे, दिवस किती लहान आहे. सो दॅट इज द डे लेंथ. ओके, यालाच आपण त्या ठिकाणी काय म्हणतो, फोटो पिरियड. याला काय म्हणतो आपण, फोटो पिरियड. सो इट इज द डे लेंथ दॅट इज नोन एज द फोटो पिरियड. So the flowering response of plant to the photoperiod is known as the photoperiodism. And the second, that is related with the light. This photoperiodism is related with the light. And what about the temperature? The flowering response to the low temperature. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी प्लांटचा फ्लावरिंग रिस्पॉन्स जो आहे तर तो लो टेम्परेचरला जो दिलेला या ठिकाणी रिस्पॉन्स आहे, फ्लावरिंग रिस्पॉन्स. सो द फ्लावरिंग रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ प्लांट टू द लो टेम्परेचर इज नोन ॲज व्हर्नलायझेशन. इज नोन ॲज vernalization. Okay, so there are the two environmental factors, light and temperature. They shows their impact or their effect on the induction of the flowering, and these two environmental factors are the light and temperature. So the flowering response of the plant to the day length is known as the photoperiodism, and the flowering response of plant to the low temperature is known as the vernalization. So today we are going to discuss about the photoperiodism. Okay, or now we are going to discuss about the photoperiodism. So the concept of photoperiodism. Photoperiodism. Okay, so the photoperiodism means it is the flowering response of the plant. The response of the plant flowering response of the plant to the day length. Okay, to the day length, or we can say that is the photoperiod. Photoperiod. So that is known as the photoperiodism. Okay, so this photoperiodism, this phenomenon, it is firstly discovered by the scientist, that is the Garner and Allard. Garner and Allard in 1920. Okay, so Garner and Allard, they discovered the photoperiodism in 1920 in tobacco and soybean. In tobacco and in soybean. Okay, so light is the most important environmental factor. So it affects on the plant's life by three different ways. Okay, so light it affects on plant by three ways. The first, that is the quality of light. Second, that is intensity of light. And third, that is the duration of light. So light it affects on the plant by three ways: by the quality, intensity and the duration of the light. Okay, so this quality and intensity, it shows its impact on the photosynthesis, growth and development. Photosynthesis, growth and development. Okay, growth and development. But this duration of light, it shows its marked effect on particularly the flowering. So for the flowering, the duration of light, it is most important. Okay, so the role of light is most important. Okay, in the flowering, particularly the photoperiod. Okay, so photoperiodism is the response of plant to the relative length of light and dark period. Okay, so it is photoperiodism. It is the response of plant is a response of plant to the length of daily illumination, or we can say that the duration and order of sequence of light. The response of plant to the duration and the order of sequence of dark and light. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी लाईट आणि डार्क त्याचं ड्युरेशन जेवढं इम्पॉर्टंट आहे त्याबरोबर त्याचा ऑर्डर किंवा त्याचा सिक्वेन्स जो आहे इट इज ऑल्सो मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट फॉर द photoperiodic response. Okay, we can say that in reality, instead of the light, the dark period is most important for the photoperiodism. Okay, the duration of dark period is more important than the duration of the light. Okay, so duration of dark is most important. Duration of dark period is more important. important than the light. Okay. So the intensity and quality, they are also equally important. So the photoperiodism, it determines whether there is the flowering initiation or not. Okay. The photoperiodism, it determines photoperiodism, it it determines what? Whether the plant will switch to flower formation or not. Whether the flower form or not. Okay. Or whether the flower produce or not. It is totally depend on the photoperiodism. So it is the transition from vegetative phase to the flowering phase. Okay. So the transition of vegetative phase to reproductive phase is determined by the photoperiod. Okay, is determined by the photoperiod. Okay, so this transition of vegetative phase to the reproductive phase is determined by the photoperiodism, and it is known as photoperiod, and it is known as the photoperiodism. Okay, so we can define it as the relative length of the day and night is called as a photoperiod, and the response of plant to the photoperiod in initiation of the flowering is known as the photoperiodism. Okay, so the length of day and night is called photoperiod, and the response of plant to photoperiod response of plant to photoperiod is called as the photoperiodism. Response of plant to photoperiodism in initiation of the flowering is most important. In initiation of flowering is called as the photoperiodism. It's called as the photoperiodism. Okay. So there, on the basis of the photoperiod required for the flowering, there are three different categories of the plant. So on the basis of photoperiod required for flowering, on the basis of photoperiod required for flowering, there are the three different categories. Three different categories. Okay, so which are the three different categories? The first, that is known as short day plant, or these are also known as SDPs, short day plants. Okay, the second, or these are also known as the long night plant. Long night plant. Okay, the second, the long day plant, LDP. Okay, or these are known as the short night plant. Okay, and the third, that is the neutral plants. Day neutral plants, so they are known as the day neutral DNPs. Okay, day neutral plants. Okay, so on the basis of the photoperiod required for the flowering, there are the three different categories of the plant. The first is the short day plant, or they are also known as short day SDPs, or they are also known as long night plant. Then second, long day plant ELDPs, or they are also known as short night plant. Okay, long day, therefore night is short, so short night plant. Short day, so night is long, therefore long night plant. And the day neutral, day may be short or long, it makes no difference to that plant, so they are the day neutral plants. Okay, so first of all, the short day plants. Okay, short day plants. So the short day plants or SDPs, okay, it shows some important characters. The short day plants show some important characters. Okay, so what are that characters? So first of all, we will draw here one figure. Suppose it is a complete day of 24 hours. Okay, so here the 24, 18 hour, 12 hour and the 6 hour. Okay, then so it is the dark period. Okay, so it is the dark period. So it is the day length. Okay, so this day length, the short day plants, this shows the flowering when there is a day in less than the 12 hours. Okay, so it is known as the critical day length. The critical day length means 12 hours. Okay, it is the critical day length. That is half day and half night. Okay, so 24, 12, 18 and 6. So it is the critical day length. Means the 12 hours day and 12 hour night. Okay, but these plants, short day plants, they flower in short day condition. They flower, the first characteristic feature, these plants, they flower in short day condition. Short day, short day condition. Okay, so short day means what? When the daylight is less than the critical period. Okay, when the daylight is less than critical period. Critical period. Okay. Critical period. So that is known as the short day. Okay. When the daylight is less than critical period. So critical period is usually it is 12 hours. Okay. But when the day period is less than 12 hours. Daylight it is less than 12 hours. So that means The critical period is usually less than 12 hours. It is known as the short day condition, and such short day conditions they require for the induction of the flowering in the plant. Okay, so such plants they are known as the short day plants. Okay, so this the period of light it differs from species to species. Okay, the flower in short these plants they flower in short day condition. The daylight is less than the critical day length, that is less than 12 hours. Less than 12 hours, and these conditions they are required for the induction of the flowering, and such plants they are known as the short day plants. So the requirement of daylight it may vary from species to species. Okay, so short day plants actually not the daylight plants, but the length of night period is the critical or important. Hence these are also known as the long night plants. These are the duration of night is long. Okay, night period is long and day is short, and therefore these are known as long night plant. These are known as the long night plants. Okay, then these short day plants will not flower if the continuous dark period is disturbed even by a shortest flash of light. Okay, so we will draw here one figure. uh, Suppose it is the day period. Okay, so it is the daytime and it is the night time. Okay, okay, it is one condition. The another condition where there is a sunlight, then there is a diffuse light. So there is a light and it is the second condition. So it is the dark period. It is the sunlight or day period. Then it is the diffuse light. It is the bulb. So it is diffuse light. Okay, and it is the night period. And the third condition where there is a short day. Okay, it is the third condition that is the light period, it is interrupted by a single flash of light. Okay, so there are the three different conditions here. Three different conditions. So in first condition, there is a short light period and a long dark period. Okay. So in such conditions, the plant, it shows the flowering. Okay. The plant, it shows the flowering. Plant, it shows the flowering. That is ESDP. Short day plant, it shows the flowering when there is a continuous long night period and the short day period. Okay. But if there is the short light period, then dark period, it is prolonged. This light period is prolonged with the artificial light. Okay. It is prolonged with the artificial diffuse light. Okay. Suppose it is 8 hours and it is also 8 hours. Okay. And then there is a short dark period. So in this condition, the plant, it remains vegetative. There is no flowering. Okay. And the third condition, where the day period is short and the night period is long. Okay. But this dark period, it is interrupted by a single flash of light. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी काय झालं, आपल्या दारामध्ये शॉर्ट डे प्लांट आहे आणि त्या ठिकाणी त्याला समजा एक 5-6 दिवसाची त्या ठिकाणी प्रॉपर फोटो पिरियड त्या ठिकाणी पाहिजे फ्लॉवरिंगसाठी. एकदा त्याला तो प्रॉपर फोटो पिरियड मिळाला की मग त्या ठिकाणी परत काही प्रॉब्लेम आला तरी त्या ठिकाणी काही फरक पडत नाही, तो इफेक्ट त्याच्यामध्ये तसंच राहत असतो. तर या ठिकाणी सपोज त्याला 6 दिवसाची सायकल लागली आणि 5 दिवस त्या प्लांटला कंटिन्युअस डार्क पिरियड मिळाला आणि 6व्या दिवशी या ठिकाणी समजा आता रात्री आपल्या अंगणामध्ये त्या ठिकाणी ते झाड आहे आणि या ठिकाणी काय झालं, अचानक आपण रात्री आपल्या रेग्युलर टायमाला आपण लाईट बंद केल्या आणि या ठिकाणी ती प्लांटला त्या ठिकाणी 6व्या दिवशीची फोटो इंडक्टिव्ह सायकल सुरू झाली. पण अचानक आपल्याला काहीतरी प्रॉब्लेम आला आणि आपण उठून त्या ठिकाणी लाईट चालू केली, बघितलं आणि परत त्या ठिकाणी लाईट बंद केली, सिंगल फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईट. तर त्या ठिकाणी हा रात्रीचा जो अंधाराचा कंटिन्युअस हा पिरियड होता, तर त्या ठिकाणी तो एक सिंगल फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईटने काय झाला, डिस्टर्ब झाला. ओके. So this night period, it gets disturbed by a single flash of light. So in that condition also, the plant, it remains vegetative. Okay. So it shows the flowering. Then it remains vegetative, and here also vegetative. Okay. This is the leaf. This leaf is most important. Okay. So we have to show. It is म्हणजे या ठिकाणी ज्यावेळेस आपल्या फिगर काढायच्या त्यावेळेस आपल्याला एक तरी किमान पान काढणं गरजेचंच असतं, कारण त्या ठिकाणी हा जो रिस्पॉन्स आहे फोटोपिरियडिझमचा, तर या ठिकाणी हा कोण घेत असतं, पानं. त्या ठिकाणी आपण पुढे त्या ठिकाणी पाहणार आहोत ते. तर या ठिकाणी सपोज इट इज अ शॉर्ट डे प्लांट, so there is an uninterrupted dark period and there is a short day period. So uninterrupted night and the short day, it shows the flowering. But if this day period, it is prolonged with the artificial light and the length of night is get reduced, in that case short day plant, it remains vegetative. And even though there is a short day and the prolonged dark period, but even there a single flash of light is there, so this single flash of light, it disturbs the photoinductive cycle, and therefore this single flash of light, it keeps the plant, short day plant, it is in a vegetative condition. That means it do not flower. Vegetative condition means it do not flower. Okay. So SDP will not flower if the continuous dark period is disturbed even by a single flash of light. Okay. It do not flower not flower even if the continuous dark period is disturbed even by a single flash of light. म्हणजे सिंगल फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईटने सुद्धा त्या ठिकाणी हे प्लांट फ्लॉवरिंगला येत नाही. सो दिस प्लांट्स दे रिक्वायर्ड द कंटिन्युअस अनडिस्टर्ब लॉंग पिरियड. ओके, सो this the darkness is most important for short day plants. There is the light period is required only for the photosynthesis. Okay, light period it is required only for the photosynthesis. So these plants, if do not get continuous long night period, then they will not flower even after getting the critical short day period condition. Okay, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी जरी क्रिटिकल शॉर्ट डे कंडिशन आपण त्याला त्या ठिकाणी दिल्या, पण त्या ठिकाणी त्याच्या या ठिकाणी फोटो इंडक्टिव्ह पिरियड मध्ये जर या ठिकाणी प्रॉपर शॉर्ट डे जर त्या ठिकाणी त्याला मिळाला नाही, तर त्या ठिकाणी ते प्लांट्स त्या ठिकाणी पुन्हा त्या ठिकाणी फ्लॉवरिंगला येत नाही. ओके, so these plants if do not get continuous long night period, they will not flower. Okay, if these plants do not get proper undisturbed night, undisturbed dark period, they do not flower. They do not flower even after getting the critical short day condition. म्हणजे त्यांच्या फोटो इंडक्टिव्ह पिरियड मध्ये जर त्यांना प्रॉपर डार्कनेस नाही मिळाला, तर त्याच्यानंतर मग त्या ठिकाणी त्याचं ट्रान्झिशन जर नाही झालं, तर पुढे त्यांना प्रॉपर शॉर्ट डे जरी मिळाला तरी ते फ्लॉवरिंगला येत नाही. ओके, सो द इंटरप्शन ऑफ लाईट पिरियड ॲट द बिगिनिंग or at the end of the short day plant or night period, it also keep the plants in a vegetative condition. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी रात्रीच्या पिरियडच्या आधी जरी किंवा शेवटी जरी या ठिकाणी जर आपण तो लाईट पिरियड किंवा हे डार्क पिरियड जर आपण डिस्टर्ब केला, तर त्या ठिकाणी प्लांट फ्लॉवरिंगला येत नाही. ओके, सो दिस सेकंड फिगर इट इंडिकेट्स दॅट दिस डार्क पिरियड इन द अर्लियर कंडिशन it is disturbed. Okay, म्हणजे अर्लियर सुरुवातीला at the starting of the dark period it is the artificial light is provided. Okay, तर या ठिकाणी असं जरी केलं किंवा शेवटी जरी त्या ठिकाणी थोडासा लाईट ठेवला आणि हा लॉंग डे पिरियड लॉंग नाईट पिरियड जो आहे तर तो त्या ठिकाणी शॉर्ट केला, तर त्या ठिकाणी दिस प्लांट्स दे डू नॉट शो द फ्लॉवरिंग. ओके, सो लाईट पिरियड इट इज ओनली फॉर द फोटोसिंथेसिस, इट इज नॉट फॉर द फ्लॉवरिंग. ओके, तर या ठिकाणी याचे जर आपण एक्झाम्पल्स पाहिले, what are the examples of the short day plant? So it may be the xanthium, it may be the rice, soybean, sugarcane, rice, soybean, then sugarcane म्हणजे ऊस, सोयाबीन वगैरे. ओके, टोबॅको, पोटॅटो, स्ट्रॉबेरी, देन क्रिसॅन्थेमम म्हणजे शेवंती, युफोर्बिया, त्याच्यानंतर ब्रायफायलम म्हणजे पानफुटी. तर या ठिकाणी these are the number of examples of the short day plant. Okay, so I hope you got the point. Then we will discuss about the long day plants. Long day plants. Okay, so the long day plants means these plants they require the continuous light period. Okay, they require continuous light period. Even though there is no dark period, it doesn't matter. Okay, म्हणजे रात्र नसली आणि पूर्ण 24 तास जरी दिवस असला तरी या ठिकाणी हे प्लांटला त्या ठिकाणी इट इज गुड फॉर दिस प्लांट. ओके, so these plants they have some characteristic feature. Number one, this flower in long day condition. These plants flower in long day condition. Okay, these plants flower in long day condition. So they require the photoperiod more than the critical length. They required photoperiod or the day length more than critical day length. More than critical day length. आता क्रिटिकल डे लेंथ म्हणजे काय? 12 तासाचा दिवस. ओके, आणि 12 तासाची रात्र. इट इज अ क्रिटिकल डे लेंथ. पण या ठिकाणी हे जे लॉंग डे प्लांट्स असतात दे रिक्वायर्ड द फोटो पिरियड मोर दॅन द क्रिटिकल डे लेंथ. म्हणजे 12 तासापेक्षा जास्त मोठा दिवस त्यांना लागतो साधारणपणे उन्हाळ्याच्या काळामध्ये. तर त्या ठिकाणी 14 तास 18 तास दॅट इज 14 to 18 hours डे. ओके, 14 ते 18 तासाचा दिवस या ठिकाणी यांना लागतो फॉर द फ्लॉवरिंग. ओके, they required very small dark period or there if it is not then there it doesn't matter. Okay, they required small dark period or small म्हणण्यापेक्षा आपण ते short म्हणू, short dark period. ओके, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी दिवस कंप्लीट त्यांना लागतो, रात्र नसली तरी त्या ठिकाणी त्यांना चालू शकतो. सो दिस डार्क पिरियड इज इनहिबिटेड. डार्क पिरियड इज इनहिबिटरी. इनहिबिटरी म्हणजे फ्लॉवरिंगला स्टॉप करणारा त्या ठिकाणी डार्क पिरियड असतो, म्हणून त्या ठिकाणी डार्क पिरियड हा त्यांना खूप छोटा लागतो. सो दिस लॉंग डे प्लांट मे फ्लावर अंडर द SGC. ओके, SGP if the flash of light is given to the plant. आपण आत्ताच या ठिकाणी पाहिलं की शॉर्ट डे कंडिशन मध्ये तिसरी कंडिशन होती की त्या ठिकाणी काय होतं की डार्क पिरियड त्या ठिकाणी काय झाला, फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईटने आपण डिस्टर्ब केलेला होता. तर त्या ठिकाणी मग शॉर्ट डे प्लांट्स कसे राहिले, व्हेजिटेटिव्ह, दे डू नॉट शो द फ्लॉवरिंग. पण मग लॉंग डे प्लांट्स अशा कंडिशन मध्ये फ्लॉवरिंगला येऊ शकतात जर ही लॉंग नाईट पिरियड, म्हणजे सपोज आपल्या दारामध्ये एक लॉंग डे प्लांट आहे आणि एक शॉर्ट डे प्लांट आहे. शॉर्ट डे कंडिशन चालू आहेत, शॉर्ट डे कंडिशन चालू आहे म्हणजे दिवस छोटा आहे रात्र मोठी आहे. अशा कंडिशन मध्ये त्यांना त्या ठिकाणी सपोज एखाद्या प्लांटला प्रॉपर 6-7 दिवसाची फोटो इंडक्टिव्ह सायकल लागते आणि त्या काळामध्ये एक दिवस आपल्याकडून चुकून फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईट त्या ठिकाणी गेला तर या ठिकाणी शॉर्ट डे प्लांट व्हेजिटेटिव्ह राहतील. पण मग लॉंग डे प्लांट जो आहे तर त्यांचा डार्कनेस फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईटने डिस्टर्ब झाला म्हणून ते फ्लॉवरिंगला येतात. लॉंग डे प्लांट फ्लॉवरिंगला येतात पण शॉर्ट डे प्लांट त्या ठिकाणी व्हेजिटेटिव्ह राहतात. ओके, सो द सिंगल फ्लॅश ऑफ लाईट दिस LDPs they may flower under short day condition if a night or dark period is disturbed by single flash of light. ओके, म्हणजे जिथे अशा कंडिशन मध्ये जिथे शॉर्ट डे प्लांट व्हेजिटेटिव्ह राहतात तिथे लॉंग डे प्लांट काय येतात, फ्लॉवरिंगला येतात. ओके, these plants they required long day condition and the short night condition, therefore they are also known as short night plant. They are also known as the short night plant. Okay, long night period, it inhibits the flowering in the long day plant. Okay. So here I will draw one figure. Okay. So it is 24, 12, 6 and 18 hours. So these plants, they require the day length more than that of the critical day length. Okay. Critical day length पेक्षा मोठा दिवस या ठिकाणी त्याला लागतो. The day length is more than that of the critical day length. तर या ठिकाणी अशा कंडिशन मध्ये लॉंग डे प्लांट काय होतात? लॉंग डे प्लांट it shows the flowering. Okay, long day plants, it shows the flowering when day length is more than that of the critical day length. Okay. Then third, that is day neutral plants. Okay, day neutral plants. The day neutral plants means these are the plants, their flowering is not affected by the length of the day. Their flowering is not affected by day length. म्हणजे दिवस किती मोठा आहे किती लहान आहे याचा त्याला काहीच परिणाम होत नाही. So the flowering is not affected by the day length. Okay. So these plants, they flower in any condition. So they do not have any specific requirement of the light and dark period, and hence there is no specific requirement. There is no specific requirement, and therefore they are known as day neutral plants. They are known as day neutral plants, and they flower throughout the year. They flower throughout the year. Throughout the year. Okay. So they flower in all possible conditions. Okay. So example, sunflower or vinca रोजिया, ज्याला आपण सदाफुली म्हणतो. ओके, सदाफुली, द कॉटन और टी, ओके, और कुकुम्बर, काकडी, वाटाणा, कापूस, सदाफुली, सनफ्लावर, maize. These are the examples of day neutral plants. Okay. The examples of long day plants. ते राहिलं आपल्याकडून long day plants examples. The examples of long day plants are the barley, the oat, wheat, cabbage, gobi, mustard, mori, okay, radish, spinach, mula, radish mula, spinach, palak, then alfalfa, घोड़ा घास, alfalfa, घोड़ा घास, okay, hibiscus. So these are some of the examples of long day plant and a day neutral plant. Okay. So I hope you got the points. So I will draw here one figure. So there are, it is the flowering action. Flowering action. Okay. So there are the 4 different conditions. So it is the whole day where the day is short. So it is the first condition. Okay. So day period is short and night period is long. Okay. So there are 2 different plants, ESDP and ELDP. Okay, long day plant and short day plants. The second condition, okay, it is the second condition where the night period is short and day period is long. Okay. So it is the second condition. Then third condition, third condition where the dark period is interrupted by a flash of light. The dark period is interrupted by this dark period, it is interrupted by a single flash of light. Okay, and the night is short. Here the night is long. And the last, there is one more condition, and that condition is that is it is the dark period, and this dark period, the earlier dark period, it is prolonged. Okay, this light period, it is prolonged, and dark period, it is disturbed at the earlier condition, or it may be at the end. Okay, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी दिवसाच्या शेवटी okay, so there are 3 different conditions, 4 different conditions where there is the uninterrupted long night and the short daylight. Then in second condition, it is first condition, second, third and fourth. In second condition, there is a prolonged light period and the short dark period. In third condition, there is the long night and the short day, but this night period, it is disturbed by the flash of light. And this fourth condition, long night period, it is disturbed at the earlier condition. ओके, म्हणजे या ठिकाणी लाईट नाही आहे, डे पिरियड हा छोटा आहे, नाईट पिरियड हा मोठा आहे, पण इथे आर्टिफिशियल लाईट इथे प्रोव्हाइड केलेली आहे. ओके, म्हणजे त्या ठिकाणी डार्क पिरियड इट इज डिस्टर्ब ॲट द स्टार्टिंग or it may be at the end of the day, night. Okay, so these are the four conditions. There are two different types of the plants, SDP and LDP. So which type of the plants it shows the flowering and which remain vegetative? So the SDP it shows the flowering here, and the long day plant it remains vegetative. Okay, then in second condition, where there is a long day condition and the short night condition, and therefore it remains vegetative. Short day plant remain vegetative, and the long day plant it shows the flowering. Okay, so in third condition, the short day plant, this short day condition, but the long night conditions are disturbed by a single flash of light. So in that condition also short day plants it remains vegetative, and the long day plants it shows the flowering. Okay, and the fourth condition, where there is a short day and a long night condition, but this night condition it is disturbed at the early to the dark period. म्हणजे डार्क पिरियड सुरू व्हायच्या आधीच्या काळात आर्टिफिशियल लाईट प्रोव्हाइड करून त्या ठिकाणी हा काय केलेला आहे, हा नाईट पिरियड हा रेड्यूस केलेला आहे किंवा शॉर्ट केलेला आहे, डिस्टर्ब केलेला आहे. ओके, तिथे सुद्धा काय होईल, शॉर्ट डे प्लांट्स दे रिमेन vegetative, and it shows the long day plants it shows the flowering. Okay, these actions shown by so these are the flowering actions shown by short day plant and long day plant. Okay, so I hope you got the points. Thank you very much.